Welcome to aminacademy.com. In human anatomy and physiology, let us discuss about the human body and its constituent. In that, we'll discuss about the internal environment of the body. The external environmental surrounds the body and is the source of oxygen and nutrients required by all body cells. Waste products of cellular activity are eventually excreted into the external environment. The skin provides an effective barrier between the body tissues and the consistently changing, often hostile external environments. Now, what is internal environment? Internal environment is the water-based medium in which body cells exist. Cells are bathed in fluid called interstitial or tissue fluid. They absorb oxygen and nutrients from the surroundings interstitial fluid, which in turn has absorbed these substances from the circulating blood. Conversely, cellular waste diffuse into the bloodstream via the interstitial fluids and are carried in the blood to appropriate excretory organs. Each cell is enclosed by a plasma membrane which provides a selective barrier to substance entering or leaving. This property called selective permeability allows the cells, that is plasma membrane, to control the entry or exit of many substances, thereby regulating the composition of its external environment. Several mechanisms are involved. What is homeostasis? The composition of the internal environment is tightly controlled and is fairly constant state is called homeostasis. Literally, this term means unchanging, but in practice, it describes a dynamic, ever changing situation where a multitude of physiological mechanisms and measurements are kept within narrow limits. When this balance is threatened or lost, there is a serious risk to the well being of the individuals. What is control systems? His homeostasis is maintained by control systems that detect and respond to change in the internal environment. The control system has three basic components: detector, control center, and effector. The control center determines the limits within which the variable factor should be maintained. It receives the input from the detector or sensor and integrates the incoming information. There are two feedback mechanism system: negative feedback system, positive feedback system. Next, what is homeostatic imbalance? This arises when the fine control of variable factor in the internal environment is inadequate and its level falls outside the normal range. If the control system cannot maintain homeostasis, an abnormal state develops that many threaten health or even life itself. Many such situations, including effects of abnormalities of the physiological variables. Now we'll discuss further about these things. The internal environment. The internal environment of the human body is the fluid that surrounds cells but is not inside them. This fluid is made up of water and dissolved substances, including electrolyte. The components of the internal environments are body fluids, the fluids that surrounds cells made up of water and dissolved substances, electrolytes, substances that dissolve in water to form positive or negatively charged particles. Intercellular fluid. The fluid inside cells, also known as cytoplasm. System that maintains the internal environments are endocrine system. Maintains the stability of the internal environment. Respiratory system supplies oxygen to cells which needs it to function. Respiration is a good example for external system. What happens to that internal system is here. Nervous system detects changes in the environment and sends signals to different parts of the body. Immune system protects the internal environment from foreign substances. That protects by immune system. Hypothalamus regulates body temperature by receiving information from temperature sensors throughout the body. Homeostasis. We explain further. Homeostasis is the process by which an organism maintains a stable internal environment despite change in the external environment. That means even some changes in external environment, it maintains the stable internal environment. That is called a homeostasis. Example of homeostasis. Body temperature. The human body maintains the temperature of about 98.6 Fahrenheit, that is 37 degrees Celsius. This is known as the set point. Blood pressure. The hypothalamus sends signals to the heart, blood vessels, and kidneys to keep blood pressure within the healthy range. Blood glucose. The body regulates the amount of glucose in the blood. Calcium. The skeletal system helps maintain the level of calcium in the body. How homeostasis works. Homeostasis is regulated by three mechanisms. First one, receptor monitors and responds to change in the environment. Control center receives the process information from the receptor. Effector responds to the control center's commands. Homeostatic imbalance. Many diseases are caused by disturbances in homeostasis. For example, as an organism ages, it becomes less efficient at controlling system. Feedback mechanism in human body. The feedback mechanism in the human body is process that helps the maintain homeostasis or a stable internal environment. It uses feedback loops to respond to changes in the body, either by amplifying the change, positive feedback, or counteracting it, negative feedbacks. What is negative feedback? Body temperature. When body temperature rises above its set point of 98.6 Fahrenheit or 37 degrees Celsius, a negative feedback loop activates to bring it back down. Blood glucose. When blood glucose levels rise above normal, a negative feedback loop activates to lower them. The pancreas secretes insulin to help regulate blood glucose level. What is feedback? Positive feedback. Blood clotting. When a wound causes bleeding, a positive feedback loop activates to clot the blood and stop blood loss. Substances released by the injured blood vessels wall starts the process of blood clotting. So far, we discussed a little about what is internal environment, external environment, as well as homeostasis. We have done. Please subscribe our YouTube channel.